is a scammer. People should know. He works with, I'm telling you, I'm not lying.
Hey guys, hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. So if you've scrolled, at some point you saw the story of Doris Ogala. She's a Nollywood actress that came on here. She was crying, shouting, and she looked sad, and she was just looking really bad. And she was talking about how Chris Okafor, this pastor, left her, and pretty much for another woman after 7 years, and things like that. And at first, a lot of women were sympathizing with her, like, oh my gosh, that's, what you go through with heartbreak and all that stuff. But then it changed because she kept on coming on social media and saying that she has all these proofs that Chris Okafor, had something to do with her brother passing, and then also that Chris Okafor was doing some dirty stuff in the background, And so she kept coming back on here, and at some point everybody was just like getting tired of her because she was screaming and saying Chris Okafor did this, he did this to me, he did that to this girl, blah 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 blah. So she did an interview with KA Truths. I'm going to leave the link down below so you guys can check it out, where she was pretty much saying everything that happened and then also exposing him and some of the stuff that he did. So the interview was really great. I think the interviewer did a good job of letting her speak, because that's what she does. She screams and she is passionate and she's loud. And, the guy just let her speak. So she says that everything was all good early on when they started and everything like that. They were stuck like glue, and she felt like she was hypnotized by the guy. And then as they were, getting involved and things like that, the guy was pretty much, working with other pastors and doing all this other dirty stuff in the background. And she pretty much, the guy told her like, hey, do this and do me this favor and this. And she was doing it because she loved the guy. So she starts saying that after a couple years, she realized that she was just being used and the guy was not going to marry her and things like that. So she starts exposing different things that was going on in the behind the scenes. And she's, tells the guy, like, I have proof. I'm going to show you everything that's been going on and things like that. But then she didn't have the physical receipts. Like, she had a few, like, WhatsApp things. But everything else she was missing. So that was really frustrating to me watching the interview. I'm like, we need to see the receipts, because you are making some claims about Okafor and other pastors, and you need some proofs. So she said that she would send it later. I was kind of waiting. I checked the guy's, YouTube to try to figure out. I didn't find it. So she says that. And then the other thing that she brought up is that she at some point told DSS or whatever to go dig up something that was buried somewhere in a church. And I don't know if they will or will not, but she was like making claims that something happened in a church and somebody was buried underneath or whatever. So she brought that up. She also had the interviewer call this one person to verify some of the stuff she stated, which I think he did. But then the guy was kind of like, trying to remove himself from the situation. He was like, okay, kind of leave me out of it. And then as she's talking, she starts really saying that Chris Okafor is pretty much a scammer, and a lot of these pastors are out here doing some dirty stuff, and maybe faking some of those miracle healings and all that stuff, and they pay people and all that, those things. And at some point, they promised her that they would give her some money or whatever for a car, and she never really got the full amount, and so she wants that money. And so people started asking, like, is this about this guy not marrying you? Or you are really out here to expose this guy? And if you're exposing him, then you're also going to be a part of it. Like, if they're getting arrested, they're going to have to arrest her as well, because she was involved with some things. So as she's talking, you just look at her and you look at somebody who looks very unwell, like somebody who looks like somebody has done some witchcraft or something on her, because she is really out here and passionate, trying to show how bad this person is. But then people were like, before that, you didn't have a problem with this guy, but all of a sudden you're out here saying that you want to expose him for all the things that he's done. And it's like, okay, including, maybe the passing of her brother. So at some point I got really tired of it. I was like, wait a minute, like, this is a bit much. And then also you don't have the receipts. So it's kind of like, it's questionable, what's really going on. But the part I wanted to really talk about is, as a woman, we all go through heartbreaks and a lot of things have happened, you have to get yourself together and try to heal and take care of yourself, privately, and then come back on when you are really fully all together. Because the way she's been coming on with this cornrows and just screaming and shouting, she's looking crazier every day she does an interview on social media. There's some things that are for sure facts, but the other things look too exaggerated. And also when you don't have the receipts for them, people are giving you a side eye, like, what's really going on? So it's just been this thing where there's videos back to back of her saying this and saying that, and she's crying 1 minute, the next minute she's yelling and saying, I'm going to expose him for what he really is. So it's just left people wondering, like, what is going on, you know? And people said at some point that she got arrested as well after the interview and all these things, you know? And now people don't even know what the heck is going on. I also am kind of concerned for her safety, because a lot of these pastors, you know, have a lot of money and they can go after someone. So she was kind of like saying she's not really scared. Like, they can go after her if they want to, but she's going to expose them for what they are. And throughout the interview, I just looked at her and I'm like, wow, you know, this relationship really took a toll on her. And that's why I was like, I know there's definitely some witchcraft that was involved with her situation, because she, compared to how she used to be, when you compare her to the pictures and some of the videos way back, she looks like a different person. She looks like there's some mental issues going on. She's fighting some demons, you know? And I'm just like, maybe it's because she participated also in what some of these pastors were doing. So in general, you know, the reason I really wanted to do this video is to say that no matter what is going on with you as a woman, if you have heartbreak, a man has left you and all that stuff, grieve as much as you need to, you know, cry as much as you need to. But at the end of the day, pick yourself up, take care of yourself, focus on other goals, you know, travel, like do other things instead of coming on social media, just screaming and crying and angry and saying, oh, he didn't marry me after 7 years and stuff like that. She also filed a lawsuit, like $1 billion lawsuit against Chris for not marrying. And a lot of people were shocked. Like, could you file a lawsuit for that? And yes, you can. You can actually file a lawsuit if somebody leads you on for 7 years and they promise things and they don't, and they move on with somebody else. I was like, this is interesting information that I didn't know about. But overall, I mean, it's just been a mess. The interview kind of sums up a lot of the stuff that was going on, but they were going to do a part 2 because she said that she has more stuff to tell people. And I'm waiting because I'm just curious. The whole thing has just been fascinating to me that a man can really mess somebody up this much, where a woman is coming on social media just acting a fool. I mean, people are just like, you know, at some point turn off social media and try to get some help, because it was so much.